There's something about classic movies that really catches my interest. And so naturally, I had to collect some more. We have here silver screen icons with 4 classic films. One of them I already had. I already had The House of Wax. I have been fascinated with The House of Wax for quite a while. I have 3 versions of it. And this one is the one that's on this film. This one, starring Vincent Price, is a remake of an even older version. And I justify keeping this copy because this one includes that older version. Also includes the 1933 Technicolor original Mystery of the Wax Museum. So we have 1930s original. I believe this one was a 50s remake. And then they made another remake in the 2000s, starring Sam Winchester from Supernatural. Jared Padalecki, I think that's his name. Maybe? Yeah, Jared Padalecki. I think that's it, yeah. Starring that guy. I think Paris Hilton was also in it. It was okay. It was okay. It was an interesting idea, but the original is clearly very fascinating. I absolutely really love the original. And then the remake, I love Vincent Price's performance. I love Vincent Price, period. So I'm very happy to have this one and watch it. But that wasn't why I picked up Silver Screen Icons. No. I picked up Silver Screen Icons for the other 3 films that I did not have. We have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We have Village of the Damned. And we have The Haunting. Now, once again, I already had a version of Village of the Damned. This is the John Carpenter remake, starring Superman, the Superman from the 70s, Superman, yeah, that guy. I keep forgetting his name. I'm not even going to try to remember his name, but Superman, starring that guy. This film was the one I watched first. It was alright. I never really felt like it was impactful enough to me to make a video on it. And if I did, I probably forgot I made one. I think I made one on House of Wax. I can't remember. It might have been one of my earlier videos that I definitely can't remember. They were all terrible. But the original, surprisingly, was fascinating. I would probably say more so than the original. I mean, than the remake. The remake by John Carpenter. John Carpenter's movies are great, but John Carpenter's movies are also like hit and miss. John Carpenter's movies can be either really amazing, like The Thing, Big Trouble in Little China, Escape from New York. Those are probably my top 3 films from him. And ironically, all star Kurt Russell. But that's probably what put Kurt Russell on the map for me as well. I love Kurt Russell movies. But then we have the movies by John Carpenter that kind of fall off the map. They're not exactly good, but they're fun. Ghosts of Mars, I honestly really love that movie. It's terrible, it's absolute garbage, but I love it. I love it to pieces. It's a very campy, bad movie, enjoyable movie. I love the Martian zombies. They speak like it's just fucking jibber jabble. and he's going full ham in on it. It was very funny. It's a very funny movie. Very, very funny. But then we have these movies, the movies like Village of the Damned, which are kind of high quality, but kind of also lowish, not as interesting quality. I think this one's the original. I don't know. They love remaking movies, man. They've been doing it for a while. Let me tell you about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, man. This one came out in the 1940s, 1941, I think. And it's a remake of the 1931 movie, which is also a remake of a silent film version. I have 2 versions of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I have the 40s version, obviously, on this collection, and I have the silent film version. The silent film version, I believe, came out on a 50-film set. I talked about that one, the one where almost half of the films on it were Roger Corman pictures. Yeah, basically that one had Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, if I can remember correctly. It was a silent film, and I enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. This one just makes me want to watch the 30s version. This one just makes me want to watch the 30s version. Now, I don't want to say that the performances are bad. I don't want to say that at all. In fact, the performances are actually really good. The dialogue is actually really good. It's very high quality. It's very interesting, but it's just there's a lot of monologuing. There's a lot of long-winded speeches that people make where they're just staring at something and speaking for minutes and minutes and minutes at a time. And you begin to wonder what this film's original purpose was. Was this a play originally? Was this made to be a play that got repurposed for a movie? Who knows? Because back in the day, remakes are fine. Because obviously when they put in a movie and you missed it, you missed it. I don't know. If you got lucky, maybe they would show it again. They would put it on again for a special run, short-time run. You'll maybe get it that time. But otherwise, you missed it. And so the next time around, if they remade it, then you got to see it again. So this one was for the people who missed it in the 30s. This was your chance to see it in the 40s. So they remade Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's okay. It's fine. It's just Village of the Damned, though, was fantastic. Like, from start to finish. It does slow down after the first opening act. The opening act, though, is amazing. Like, holy crap. It's some of the best stuff I've seen in a black and white picture. And I've seen Schindler's List. It's some of the best black and white stuff I've seen in a black and white picture. It is so good. The tension, the suspense, even though I knew exactly what was going to happen because I already watched this one, it was so good. It was so good. And then you reach the middle part of the movie where things really kind of slow down. You have to really pay attention. You have to really force yourself to pay attention. If you have attention-paying problems, that's probably going to be harder for you than most people that don't. But you gotta force yourself to pay attention to the dialogue, to what people are saying, because there's a lot of talking. It's a lot of people just sitting around and talking. There's very little action going on. There's very little things happening. People are just saying what's happening. People are just saying what they think is going on with these children. People are just thinking and talking about what they're thinking about. And again, I want to tell you, even though you see these pictures in color, 3 of the films, the 3 that I watched, I didn't watch House of Wax because I already had it. I only watched the other 3 films, and all 3 of them were black and white. I think House of Wax should be in Technicolor on this collection. Let's take a look and see if it was. If it'll tell me that. It probably will not. No, it will not tell. No, wait. House of Wax color. Alright, yep, it's the only color picture on here. The Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was an hour and 13 minutes. The Haunting is an hour and 14 minutes. Village of the Damned is 77 minutes. I think the reason why Village of the Damned worked for me was because it was so short. It got in and it got out. It told you everything it needed to. All the actors are great. The second act is kind of a little bit of a slog, but since the movie was so short, we were able to forgive it a little bit. It was very high-paced at the beginning and at the end, and it was just a good time all around. I don't know if I prefer this to the John Carpenter one. I definitely think the strange alien psychic children in the original, at least for David, worked for me far more than they did in this movie. They're definitely creepier in the remake. They're definitely creepier. But I do like the Professor Man in the original more than Superman's character in this one. Superman's fine, obviously, he's fine, but I prefer the original guy. He just has a much more powerful presence. They're both worth watching, by the way. They're both worth watching, especially if you're fascinated with John Carpenter movies. Definitely watch this one. It's on the list. It's one of his movies. But definitely give Village of the Damned a very good. Give it a look. Give it a look. And let's talk about The Haunting. I think this one's the best film on the set. Actually, no, House of Wax is easily the best film on the set. Clearly, House of Wax, I already have it. You know, it's a fantastic picture. I've already talked about it. It's the best one on the set, but the best one of the other three that I've watched is The Haunting. The Haunting is a story about the Hill House. And if you're a Netflix streamer, you probably already know about The Haunting of Hill House miniseries, TV show. You've probably watched it, or at least you've heard about it. I have heard about it. But finally, I got to see the Hill House story in the original film version. This one, I don't know if it's the original, but it's a black and white film. It's made in the 60s, I think, early 60s, black and white. The acting's fantastic. There's some performances that are kind of put into question. There's this main girl and then the other psychic lady, and the dynamic between them constantly goes between, oh, does she hate her, or oh, does she really like her, because they keep jumping between hate and like, and it's kind of inconsistent with the acting. You can begin to but then you start to see that the main lady is not exactly a consistent in her head person. So maybe we could forgive that type of inconsistencies there, because the ESP lady, the psychic lady, kind of understands that she's not exactly having a good time here, so she's being really patient with her. But outside of that, which was a little bit rocky for me, the rest of the film is fantastic. There are some very, very good suspense. It's obviously a cheaper film, but because the color's been around for decades by this point. So when you're making a black and white film in the 60s, you're low budget, alright? So they're making a lot of special effects that are cheap by having characters look at a corner and then just banging on some pots and pans behind the soundstage, and they use that as the ghost making, or the poltergeist, or whatever, the haunted house, doing some haunted house stuff. They shake the camera a little bit. Nothing's actually happening. It's just a bunch of sound, and the score goes wild, and the actors are looking at a corner. There's nothing's over there, but they're screaming because there's sound and all that shit. It's good for what they're doing there. The atmosphere definitely builds up the tension. Even though you don't see anything, the atmosphere is very good. And you never do see anything. You never do see the ghosts. You never see any of that. There is one effect that I really liked near the start of the third act, where that type of haunting stuff that happened earlier in the film that scared the two main ladies in their bedroom, everybody's down in the parlor this time, and this time the ghost is making the noise and banging on the parlor door, and this time all the other characters are in the room, so they get to see it too, or hear it. And this time we actually do get to see something happening. There's this big wall, right? There's this wall, and it looks like the wall is breathing. It's like I don't know if you could see, like imagine that's the wall, and that's how it normally looks, but then you see the wall push outwards and inwards, outward, inwards, outwards, inwards, outwards. It's very, you could barely see that on the camera, but it looked like the wall was breathing. And that's an actual real practical effect that they were doing. It was probably like a rubber wall or something, and they were pushing against it or something. It was a very excellent effect. I loved it. It was very, very, very well done. And it probably definitely terrified people of the 60s. It probably definitely terrified a bunch of people of the 60s. The Haunting is a horror movie that, if you are a horror movie classic connoisseur, it is something that needs to be on your list. In fact, all four of these, except for the 30s, replace the 40s version with the 30s version on the House of Wax. The 30s version is the one I like, but the 50s one is the one I like the best, because I just really like Vincent Price, his character. He's very good in the remake. So it depends. But I'd honestly prefer the classic version of Village of the Damned. All four of these are icons. All of them. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is a story that has been told and retold and retold and retold and retold and retold and retold. They have adapted it. They have changed it. They have made the story a comedy, like with the Nutty Professor. The Nutty Professor has two versions. They remade the Nutty Professor. There's the original Nutty Professor, who was ugly and wanted to look good. And then there's the other nutty professor who was fat and wanted to be thin. And then I talked about how The Substance was about a washed-up 80s actor wanting to relive her glory days. It's the same thing. Dr. Jekyll, who is not ideal looking or ideal emotionally or ideal with courage and ego and all that stuff, who is questioning some thing that they perceive to be a fault in their person and wanted it to be better. And they end up releasing a monster inside of them, the Mr. Hyde. Buddy Love is the Mr. Hyde. Both versions of Buddy Love is the Mr. Hyde. And the 80s aerobics lady with the rogue Norwegian Nola accent, the lady who I can't remember her name, the younger lady from The Substance. I can't remember her name. I don't know her name, but she's the Mr. Hyde. And of course, the Mr. Hyde is Mr. Hyde. In the 30s version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, we have Mr. Hyde with actual monster makeup. In this version, instead of monster makeup, they just get a different person. Like they make his eyebrows a little crazy. They frazzle his hair around, but they don't exactly make him turn into a monster. They just have him look almost the same, just slightly different. And I may prefer that, but the pacing in this film is just too long. It's almost 2 hours long. And for a classic movie in the 40s, 2 hours is a slog. If you are not like this big film, like Bridge on the River Kwai or something, 2 hours is not something you need to be in that time period in the 40s or all that. You don't need to be that long. You could have easily cut 30 minutes from this film. You could easily cut it out. It's just a bunch of long periods of dialogue. It's good dialogue, but it's just long, and you're not going to retain your audience's retention. And it goes to show, when I looked up some of the reviews for the 30s version versus the 40s version, the 30s one gets a lot of high praise, high quality, high look, and then the 40s version is the often overlooked dark, ugly duckling, the one with the low budget, the low reviews. So, if you're fascinated and you want to see every version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde that you can, then this is going to be one of them that's going to be on your stop. I would say it's worth watching for that purpose alone. It might even just be worth watching for a classic horror purpose alone. It might even be worth watching when you're interested in learning about remakes and reboots and how they even did it back in the day and how it wasn't just something that they started to do in the 2000s. Now, they've been doing it for quite a while. There's been remakes and reboots and sequels. We've had sequel-itis for a very long time. But either way, this was a very good set. It's very good. I recommend most of these. The two I recommend the best would be House of Wax and The Haunting, but definitely give Village of the Damned a look. You could skip Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde if you want, but it might be worth it in the end.